Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rapha'Yah, and we are going to get started in this amazing Torah portion, Beshalah. Beshalah is another episode in the synchronization of our forefathers through from one point of slavery to freedom. In this transition, we see how our fathers went from being slaves for 210 years, and I'm talking about in the actual staying in Egypt, to the freedom in the 15th of Abib. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the meaning of the passing of the Red Sea. I know they call it like that. We're going to be talking about that. And right before we start, I will ask you, if you have not subscribed, please do so you can get the latest of productions. And let's go ahead and start it. See, if we notice from last week's Torah portion, Parashat Bo, or Go, we see how the Creator transitioned from one thing to another in current events. Like today, many current events are happening according to what the scriptures are stating for so many years behind. And exactly as the book of Ecclesiastes states very clear, what it was, it will be again, and it's just a fact. So let's just jump into it. We notice how this Torah portion, Parashat Beshalah, the crossing of the Red Sea, was nothing short of amazing how the Creator is able to make these signs, and yet people find it very common. This is nothing but short of an amazing miracle. How our fathers were able to pass through this pathway that our Creator made for them to cross to the other side, to show the signs of how the Creator is amazing. Let's jump into it. This is number 16 of the Torah portions in Shemot, or Exodus 13 verse 17 to chapter 17 verse 16. Beshalah, which means He had sent. Ye Almighty did not let them in a path that goes through the land of the Philistine, because it was closed. Ye thought that the people, seeing the war, could change the way of thinking and return to Mizraim, return to Egypt. Now let's just stop here for a moment. Let's just talk about a little bit how the Creator is able to know how we are as a humans, our human thinking, our human emotions. And we are very fearful. We fear of everything. We fear of traffic. We fear of the police. We fear of being robbed. We fear of getting a new job. We fear of getting a new car. We fear of getting a new credit card. We fear of everything, brothers and sisters. So do you imagine our forefathers getting in this kind of situation where Moses is driving them out, bringing them out, but there are many pathways that our Creator could then let them happen. But one of these, which is the shortest to get to Eretz Israel, to the land of Israel, yet He did not take him to that route. And the simple reason for it is because 30 years later, our forefathers were, let's put it this way, they left early before the time fulfilled. And I'm talking about the tribe of Ephraim. The tribe of Ephraim left early, thinking that they might have fulfilled the promise of the 400 years of being there, but in reality it wasn't 400 years, so it was 210 years. But the whole fulfillment from the time of the Abraham received this promise, they thought it was fulfilled, but it wasn't. And so these bones that were actually there in the sand, there were about 30,000 of the tribe of Ephraim. Now, let me show you here. This is pretty much, they call it the way of horse, okay? In this way here from Goshen, they left. They're supposed to go north, but the Creator knew what he was doing, so he took them to the different pathway, which is the south. Instead of going northeast, they went south, and that's how the Creator wanted to take them in that direction. Now look at what the book of Yashar says, and we're just reviewing this, okay? Book of Yashar 75 verse 1, at that time in the year 180 of the Israelites who went down to Egypt, mighty men came out of Egypt, 30,000 in foot, from the sons of Israel, who were all from the tribe of Joseph, from the sons of Ephraim. Now, the reason why I bring all this is for us to understand, to fill that little gap that it is in the Torah, where we wonder, why did the Creator did not let them to the northeast, going to Eretz Israel? And there was a reason for it. It's because the bones were laying on the sand. Do you imagine a whole lot of bones on the sand? And our fathers will see that. They were scared off and they will go back to Egypt. So the Creator, avoiding that event, avoiding that situation, he drove them to the north, to the south, going around the longest route. And there is always a reason why the Creator always do these kinds of things. Now, let me put it this way, okay? Real quick, we're just reviewing, because I brought this before. Verse 2, for they said to the period which Yahweh had appointed to the sons of Israel in the times of old, who have spoken to Abraham, have been completed. And these men bound themselves, put each other his sword by his side, and each man his armor upon him, and trusted in his strength, and went out of Egypt together with one mighty hand. And the reason why I'm bringing all these verses is for us to comprehend the reason why this happened. And in other words, at the end of the day, the Creator there's always a reason why everything has its time. We think that we are fulfilling sometimes, but we don't understand that sometimes we think that we are right, but we are wrong. Let me put it this way. In the book of Proverbs says that man that think of himself that he's right, that his path is right, but the end is of death. And it's very, very correct. We tend to think that we are doing the right thing because we think that we are serving the Creator, but sometimes we are not. We need to counsel, we need to search, we need to look for counsel through the scriptures. Cannot just abide by one route, one counsel. We need to look for 2 or 3 if it's possible. The Torah says very clear that out of 2 or 3 witnesses, the matter should be true. And it's so right. Now, let me bring a little bit more so we can understand how our forefathers thought of all this, okay? And I'm going to bring a little later what happened so we can at least have an idea of what I'm talking about. The staying of our forefathers, because we tend to think the way they've been teaching us for so many years is completely wrong. The way they were being taught by the Christian, Catholic, whatever Protestant background that we might have is totally wrong. We tend to think that our forefathers were in Egypt for 430 years. And that's not correct. Let me bring with this graphic. Abraham was called when he was 70 years. 5 years later, he was 75. Abraham went out of Haran. When Yitzhak, 25 years later, when Yitzhak was born, he was 100. Yaakov was born late after 60 years. Okay, and Yaakov was 130 when he enters into Egypt, Mitzrayim. The total of 220 years. This is the 220 years in Canaan, in the land of Canaan. So you understand. And this is exactly what the Torah says, that the staying of our forefathers in the land of Canaan and in the land of Egypt were 430 years. This is the first half. Let's look at the next half. When Joseph died was the year 280. When Moshe brought our forefathers out of Egypt was in the 430 years. That gives us the total of 210 years in Egypt. 210 and 220 gives us a total of over 430 years total. But from the moment that Yitzhak was born, that was the first generation. The second generation was Yaakov. The third generation was Joseph. And the fourth generation was Moshe. All this, from the moment that Joseph was born until the exile of our forefathers from Egypt, was 400 years total. So all this, we're just reviewing all these accounts so we have an idea how our forefathers were in the exile in that precise time. Once again, all this is just to refresh our memories how the Creator is able to make a lot of things happen. But sometimes we tend to think that perhaps we're being thought wrong. It's not your fault. It's not your mom's fault. It's been passed on through generations and generations, and which is not good. Now let's jump into something very crucial. Yashar 81 verse 40, and when the sons of Israel have entered the sea, Egyptians came after them, and the waters of the sea resumed upon them, and they all sunk in the water. Not a single man was left except for Pharaoh, who thanks to Yahweh and believed in him. Therefore Yahweh did not cause him to perish at the time with the Egyptians. Now let's pause here for a moment. And right before that, we must understand that why was Pharaoh saved? Why was Pharaoh kept alive? Remember that in the death of the firstborn, he's supposed to die because he's supposed to be the firstborn as well. But Yahweh saved him, and for that precise time. The time was where he was able to see all the wonders and all the signs that Yahweh was going to show the Egyptians. And here we saw a great sign opening the Red Seas. Now, when I said Red Seas, it's supposed to be the cedar reeds. The scholars, instead of making the cedar reed, they made it as red seed, but it's incorrect. The proper wording is the cedar reeds because there's a lot of reeds there. Now, or what is called in Hebrew the Yam Suf. The Yam Suf. Now, before that, before they enter into the waters, look what it says here in Exodus or Shemot 14:24. Just before dawn, Yahweh looked through the pillars of fires, and Mitzrayim drove them into a panic. Who were the one in panic? The Egyptians. Who were the one calm and steady? Our forefathers. Why? Because Yahweh told Moshe to tell our forefathers to stay still, to calm down, because Yahweh will fight for them. And it's the same as today. Yahweh will fight for us. We tend to think that we're by ourselves. We're not. Yahweh will always fight for us. You're always going to have a malach, an angel by our side. And believe me, one angel is enough. They're so powerful. They have the capability to do a lot of good things. Just one angel. Imagine more. So we are not alone. And Yahweh always said to be still, to come down, to don't panic. Don't worry. The rest of the nations, the rest of the Goyim, the rest of the people who don't know anything about our Creator will panic in situations where drive them nuts. And just like today, people panic about nuclear bomb, about the war, about this, about that. Don't worry about that. Let the Creator take care of things. You take care of Torah. You take care of doing your prayers. You take care of doing TZEDAKAH. You take care of doing what is right in the eyes of Yahweh. He's going to do the rest. He's going to protect us. But we need to do something about it as well. And when our forefathers saw the pillar of fire, and this was exactly at dawn, right before sunrise. Let me put it this way. Our Yahweh says very clear that before dawn, Yahweh is, the angels of Yahweh are doing something great to the Creator, which is praising Him. And I'll put this in perspective. Remember when Yaakov was fighting with the angel, with the messenger, with the malach, early in the morning, right? Before sunrise. And remember that Yaakov did not want to let him go until he receives the blessing. But the angel said to our father Yaakov, let me go because I need to go before dawn. And there is a reason why. In the Torah, in the Aramaic Targum says that he needed to go because he was one of the angels that praised the Creator early in the morning before the sun rise. And it's exactly here the same kind of situations. And let me show you so you don't think I'm making this up. The pillar of fire that they witnessed is something short of a miracle. Something that they could not fathom on their minds, but it's something that the Creator actually made it happen. Targum Yonatan 14:24, it was in the morning watch at the moment when the powers from on high came to offer exaltation. Exactly what I was saying earlier. Same happened here. Yahweh looked in anger upon the host of Mizraim, or the Egyptians, from the pillar of fire to hurl upon them flakes of fire and hail, and from the pillar of clouds, and to confound the forces of Mizraim, or Egyptians. This is one of the things that Yahweh did to the Egyptians. Not only what the pillar of fire was covering, protecting our forefathers, but at the same time, the pillar of fire hurled down fire and hail. All this is to make them even more confused. And exactly what it was. Yahweh was confounded completely because they didn't know what to do. They were between the sword and the wall. Look at what the Shemot, or Exodus 14:15 said. Yahweh asked Moshe, why are you crying out to me? Tell the sons of Israel to march forward. Lift up thy rod, stretch out their hand over the sea, and divide it into two. The sons of Israel will advance into the sea on the dry land. And this is exactly what our Creator did. This is exactly what our Creator was able to manage into what they witnessed. Let me show you before we end. Look at what the Torah says. 15 verse 8. With a breath from your nostrils, the waters piled up. Standing tall like a wall, the running waters stopped. the deep waters froze into the heart of the sea. The reason why I bring these amazing verses is because in the Torah scroll, before I finish, I need to show you this. In the Torah scroll, the wise men, the scribes, wrote down exactly the account, but in a very artful manner. Let me show you. When our forefathers went through wall to wall of water, and they witnessed this with their own fleshly eyes. Look what the Torah scroll is written. From the right to left, there are two walls written. You see that? And right in the middle is our forefathers passing through. Exactly in the book of Shemot or Exodus chapter 15, this is written. This is written the way it was written because they envisioned our forefathers passing through from wall to wall. It's amazing how the Torah, it is written in a certain way for us to understand how all these accounts happen. Yes, this happened. Our forefathers passed and witnessed these amazing events, and it's something that we must understand whether we like it or not. Some of these things we might think it's just another fairy tale. They're not. This actually happened. Our forefathers witnessed this, and we are going to see even more amazing events coming forth in the coming Torah portions. I'm Moreh Rapha'Yah. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We are having so many productions right now, and we do have a link right below. You can look right below. We have a lot of new music. We have so far about 5 or 4 albums, 2 singles, one of them in English, by the way. If you want to check that out, it's underneath right below, and the English version there is called 10 Men and a Jew. So please check it out, and it's amazing how we are restoring the music in a very Middle Eastern way, the way our forefathers play music, and also that we have a lot of music in Hebrew, a lot of coming up very, very soon that we are bringing little by little, but we are just patiently, but we are bringing this out. I'm Moreh Rapha'Yah. We'll see you next time. Shabbat Shalom.
Please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. Thank you. We'll begin.
If you like this video, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. There's more content in production. Thank you.